That's a yes? All right. Well, it is my great pleasure to introduce one of my favorite people, Tao Lin. I hope many of you saw. Yeah, let's give a round of applause. I don't remember how I found something about him on the internet years ago, and then I bought used copies of stuff for about $0.01 on eBay of his because I was really broke, and read it, and then felt like I should buy a good copy of something so he can make money off of it. So when Richard Yates came out, 3, maybe 5, 6, 7 months after it came out, I mustered up the $15 and got it. So I have the receipt still, and I kind of want Tao to sign it because I feel good giving him, helping him out, because I feel bad about those 1-cent things. So sorry about that, Tao. Okay. Well, I hope you guys all are ready. I'm excited. I've been waiting for this for months. I hope you have your candy fix. And without any further ado, the legendary one and only Tao. Let's get another round of applause.
Do you think you'd try turning off a little bit of
Sure.
Do you think you'd turn off the light that is on me? This is going to be a lecture on my drawing style from 2006 to 2011. For those of you that don't know who I am, normally I'm a writer, but I feel more comfortable talking about my art, and it's more entertaining. If anyone has questions throughout this, just raise your hand and I'll point at you. Then you can ask a question. I have 3 main styles. Can you hear me without this?
Yeah.
Okay. I have 3 main styles. The first one is minimal, which is my current style to a large degree. And then I have detailed, which I've abandoned to a large degree, and I won't talk about in this presentation. And then I have this is, I started a column for Vice called Drug-Related Photoshop Art, and this is the 3rd style. It's minimal, clean, and usually it's layered. For example, there's like the background, Justin Bieber, and then this is even closer. For these, there's usually just one layer. And I will talk about this at the end. So now I'm just going to mostly talk about the first style, the minimal style. This is just a timeline of my development from 2006 to 2010. You can see that at first it was really crude, and then it got just like, there isn't really a pattern until this part where it gets more minimal and cleaner. The tools I use are Microsoft Paint, which I like because it's really easy to use, but I've abandoned it because it has low resolution and it's not on Macs. And I do most of this in the NYU's library, which has Macs. And it also has a smaller variety of tools and features such as layers and Helvetica. And this is something I did in Microsoft Paint. It's a shaved or / sunburned baby camel in 2007. Another thing I use is pen and marker, and it's good for pieces where I don't have to color in a lot of stuff. And also, I can't sell things that I just draw in Microsoft Paint, really. So when I want to sell my art, I draw it and then put on eBay usually. This is toy poodle. And I also use construction paper, which is most useful for pieces that require really large areas of solid colors, because I usually use tape to tape it onto the thing. And it creates a mild 3D effect even when you scan it. This is gigantic satanic hamster very happily flying onto an unsuspecting treetop after ingesting an unknown but probably very large dose of amphetamines to relieve boredom/despair. And I did in 2009. Any questions so far?
Where do you scan? Do you scan at the library also?
Yeah, I only scan at the library. I don't have a scan.
Do you do all your work in the library? Is that your...
Most of it. I had a MacBook with Photoshop on it, but it's really hard to use the trackpad. And that MacBook is broken. This is another example of something I did with construction paper. The title's too long, so you can just look at it on the internet if you want to. But that's what it looks like. And the mild 3D effect I was talking about, you can see it here. Or you can just see it everywhere. It feels satisfying. Oh, here's some more about the 3D effect. See, this is what it looks like from a front, and then like from the side you can see it's like 3D. That's just from there being tape under it. And I use Photoshop, which is the preferred in real life method now. One thing I've noticed about Photoshop is the fill all tool is not as easy to use as Microsoft Paint's. This is something I made with Photoshop, this crying and dead Sasquatch. And I use Flickr to organize everything. With Flickr, you can order prints of the art for, I think right now it's like 9 cents per print. That's like 4 by 6 inches. And this is most of my art. Now I will talk about my reoccurring themes. One is conventionally cute or pretty things. And this is the can't concentrate manatee. It also has, that's just the title of the short story. It has a short story about it. This is just a pink hamster. And I like to draw conventionally ugly or weird looking things that are wearing colorful or professional outfits or have colorful skin or fur. And this is a bird. It is conventionally ugly, but the colors make it look, to me, pretty. And this is before showering and after showering. Only the before showering works for the conventionally ugly thing. I just want to show you like what happens to it after it showers. Professional octopus. This would be a weird looking thing where trying to be professional. And I like to draw animals that are crying or having depressed expressions while doing something that conventionally is happy. This is a bear that's eating and is crying. And animals being exploited by humans. I couldn't find an example for this, but it would be like something like a cow on a conveyor belt moving toward a machine that's going to turn it into beef. And the cow would have a neutral, confused, or ambiguous facial expression. And I like to draw animals suffering or doing stressful things while in beautiful locations. This is a financially desperate tree doing a quadruple kickflip off a cliff into a 5,000 plus foot gorge to retain its Nike, Fritos, and Red Bull sponsorships. And this is a sex monster searching for sex in all around the world. And it's underwater. Sorry. Any questions at this point?
Do you draw animals because you feel bad for them being like eaten, or like you feel, because it seems like all of it's been animals so far?
I also draw humans. I think humans are a species, and animals are many different species. So it's just for variety. And this is dinner hamsters. They're in their beautiful dining room, but they're not happy. And they have beautiful portraits of themselves in an earlier time when they were happy. And I like to draw things with Mona Lisa-like expressions, which is ambiguous or complex facial expressions. This is a organic tomato that is screaming in joy because it got certified organic. This is just a close-up of the bird from earlier. It has a complex expression to me. And this is just some girl with an ambiguous expression. And I like to draw conventionally unfortunate situations presented in a non-pitying / neutral manner, or in a manner like it's a clothing advertisement targeting young people. So this is a homeless moose, but it's not portrayed, in my view, in a pitying manner. And it also, to me, looks like it could be an advertisement for like American Eagle or something. And I like to draw animals doing interesting things with uncertain or neutral expressions. This is a hamster flying in the outer space, I guess. That's the Earth. This is just some kind of beast that's skateboarding. This is a unicorn mother thinking about eating her daughter to get rid of her. And I like to draw animals that seem to not be doing anything and having neutral, confused, or depressed expressions. This is a Peruvian jungle pig. This is a Sasquatch sitting at a bench at night experiencing the full effect of the loneliness of existence. And this is an okapi. Does anyone not know what an okapi is? Everyone knows what it. You don't? Well, later on you'll see what it is. And I like to draw animals or things that are screaming in agony. This is the same tomato you saw earlier. Earlier I said it was screaming in joy, but you can also interpret it as screaming in agony because it inaccurately thinks it didn't get organic certification. Probably because the sticker is on where it can't look seen. I like drawing animals that are being out of control. This is a Sasquatch swinging on a tree, crying tears of joy. I like drawing obesity. This is an overweight moose. This is a Sasquatch that's obese from eating too much pasta to console herself from birthing a baby of a different species. It had a hamster for a baby. Any questions?
Is the way that you draw things the way that you imagine things in your head?
Imagine. I don't think so. I think, like, I don't imagine that. I guess I just like draw shapes, and then it comes to look like something. And then for the face, usually I don't imagine it. I just keep drawing faces and like move the eyes around and move the dots around until I recognize it as something that I like. So no.
If you're just doing line drawings, flat colors, why did you choose to use Photoshop for them all?
For the
As opposed to something like Illustrator, like when you moved out of Paint?
I don't know. I've never heard of Illustrator.
Okay.
Is it better than Photoshop?
Yeah, you should. Your lines won't be pixelated.
Oh,
Go for it.
is it for Mac or?
Yeah, Creative Suite.
Adobe.
Oh.
What do you like more, drawing or writing the titles?
It depends. And this is a morbidly obese hamster. I like drawing depictions of intense emotions occurring for seemingly no concrete reason. A panda crying for no concrete reason. And I like drawing things having to do with Satanism. And this is Harry Potter with the upside down cross on his face. Two upside down crosses that are friends. And a religious confused leader. This is a 168 IQ moose. Some of my drawings have like short stories. This is one of them. Let me see if it links to it. No, it doesn't. I'll just Google it really fast. Yeah, here it is. It's called the smart moose. In a small forest in Alaska, a moose sharpens its antlers on a glacier. The moose cuts down 5 trees with its antlers and builds a canoe. The moose carries the canoe and beats a group of campers with it, killing 8 children, 2 adults, and an Inuit passerby. The moose stands in the canoe and arrives in Japan, where for the last 18 years it has been general manager at the Kyoto headquarters of Sony's earpiece department. And this is just 10 years old with a pentagram on his face. This is a satanic hamster. What my art strives for generally. Sympathetic presentation, not to be a parody, and to be directly focused on the emotional state of the subject. Anyone want to argue with me about if I drew Hitler or Bush, I will not present them negatively. I feel like I've been ready to go on a political rant for anyone who's like gonna say something. So if you have an opinion on that, I'm ready to respond.
I think George Bush is the greatest president ever.
That's not a question.
Did you see the movie W, the biopic?
No.
Okay.
Who would you rather party with, George Bush or Al Gore?
George Bush, definitely.
Okay.
Why?
He seems more fun and like less political. Last chance to talk about Hitler or Bush.
Have you thought about drawing either one of them, or have you drawn one of them yet? What would you do if you did draw them?
I haven't, but I would probably just draw Hitler with like, either just like a depressed expression or like crying. I'm moving on now. Now I will talk about my influences. The main influence is probably just concrete reality. This is a photograph of a fish. To me, it's displaying a vaguely neutral expression, and it seems emotional and funny to me. This is my parents' dog in Taiwan. It just seems like it's really bored of life. This is the same dog remaining calm in a stressful situation. It just seems like it's like detached a lot. It doesn't care about this baby. This is a iguana. I titled it New Girlfriend on Flickr as a joke. And it seems funny to me. And this is what an okapi looks like. It's a real animal. It's probably endangered. And I first started drawing in like 2006 when my ex-girlfriend, Ellen Kennedy, we would just like draw stuff to each other on Microsoft Paint for fun. And this is something she drew. It's called a cheese piece going through cheese withdrawal. And this is another thing she drew. It's called cows drowning. So she influenced me. And Daniel Clowes influenced me because when he draws faces, they always look just funny to me. And small children influence me. This is a photograph I took of, I think it's by a second grader in Taiwan. They post drawings by children in the subway system. This is one of them. It looks like a squid. Here's another drawing by small children, like an elephant climbing a tree with a zebra or something. Now I will talk about my drawing techniques. Any questions about influences?
Did any of your short stories, I mean, your short stories have led you to write to draw something, sure, draw some things after reading someone else's work, or Any influences outside of drawing or other pictures?
Have I drawn something after reading someone else's work?
Or even seeing a movie or
Or just seeing a movie? No. I don't think so, no. Any other influence questions?
Do you take any drugs?
Do I take drugs? Yeah. I have the drug-related Photoshop art thing. That part will talk about drugs, probably. Now, here are my drawing techniques. They're really simple. I'll talk about mouths first. One kind of mouth is a feminine or has lips mouth. And it's just a straight line with like a thing on top and a thing on bottom. Then there's the open mouth, which is there's just space in between the black line. And then there's the closed mouth, which is just a line. Those are pretty much only. Boy, there's one more after this. So that's another straight mouth. And by just slightly making it curve up or down, it can make the thing look sad or happy. This is the lopsided mouth. And it conveys active expression of intense emotion. Now I'm going to show you an example of that in a real person. Later, Dan. She has like a lopsided mouth, and you can tell she's like experiencing intense emotion. My techniques on age and weight. Since it's generally accepted that eye mouth size doesn't vary much with age, a large face indicates a young age. For example, this has a large face and it looks like a baby or a child. And then a smaller face, it looks like an adult. And then a very small face, it looks like it's an adult that is obese. Ignore this thing. I don't know that. And another thing you can do is, these three faces are exactly the same. They're copy and pasted, but put in different areas, it changes like everything about the thing. I do that often. I'll like copy the face and just like move it around and experiment to see what I want. My strategies on showing emotion. Neutral, just a straight mouth. And this isn't in here, but if you want to make it look angry, you make the top line slant down a little towards the mouth. And if you want to make it look like concern, you just do the opposite. That's probably like obvious. And happy, you just do a straight line and this thing. Depressed, just a slightly curved, but not too curved. Crying, you add the line below the eyeball, and you color it in blue, and you add this teardrop. Or you can just not even add the teardrop. Deceased, you just use exit. Like the Nirvana shirt. Any questions about the faces?
When did you first realize all this
Realize?
and like apply it to your drawing?
Just gradual.
Gradually?
Yeah, I really did like learn gradually. Like I would learn things. I guess trial and error.
What about this, like in that one, the size of the line?
This one?
Yeah, like usually they're small mouths. Have you? I guess have you experimented with big mouths, or like, what do you feel about the size of the mouth?
If you make it big, it looks bad to me. I wish I had an example. Maybe I'll find one later. But I've just found that smaller mouths work better. Any other questions?
But if it's too big, is it because it looks like a manga character? Like it's too expressive if it's a really big mouth? Like it looks like anime?
I think anime looks good, so no. I'm not sure. I'll try to find one later. And then my tiling techniques. The one word technique is just a direct toneless description of what's literally depicted. And it conveys detachment or wariness. And it can enhance something conventionally notable by rendering it not notable. For example, eggplant. It ignores that